That's embarrassing. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I don't know how that happened. Did I even successfully, did I just stay on the loading screen or something and then just go, what? I have so many questions about the most recent occurrence. Oh, I need to switch chat over to the proper chat. Oh my God. How you saw nothing, I think, is what I'm going to say. You saw absolutely nothing. Nothing occurred. It was not an embarrassment to the world and to me. Everything is fine. There's our proper chat. What even happened? Now I want to know what happened to that other one. What happened to the other stream? How did this occur? It went live for 1 second. Somebody liked it. Thank you for liking it. Oh, I'm gonna delete that. I was talking to myself for so long. I was talking to myself for so long and didn't even notice that I had somehow done that. That is so sad. Delete that VOD. Nobody needs to know that happened. It's a 1 second long VOD. I understand. No one needs to see that. Okay. Alright, we're back. Oh, no. Okay. Alright. Okay. Well, now we're here. Now this is fine. We're here. Hi. Hi. We are back. We're working on things. We're working on a new PowerPoint this time. Hi, Astral. Welcome. Welcome to these shenanigans. Apparently, I think what happened is I clicked some buttons too fast and I accidentally ended the stream at the same time as I started it. Which is honestly pretty impressive. I think I deserve an award for that. Yes, the 1 second VOD was an absolute mistake. I had started a stream, and I guess I ended it right when I started it, and I didn't notice, so I was just yapping to myself for like 7 full minutes, I think, before I even realized what was happening. Or rather, what wasn't happening. I think that's pretty impressive, honestly. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back for accomplishing that. The 1 second VOD is gone now. Hey, Aggie! Truly a bird brain moment. It's true. It's true. I was trying to, I simply, let me tell you what I was yapping to myself about while I was, right before I realized what had happened. So I'm currently editing another lecture. This lecture is twice as long as the last one, so hopefully that doesn't mean this is going to be a 6-hour stream. This one is about social cognition, which is like about how we think about ourselves in the social world, and I really like this lecture because like it talks a lot about heuristics, which are like shortcuts that we use in our brain to process information, because like, you know, we're taking in a lot of information all the time. We're seeing things, we're hearing things, we're feeling things, we're smelling things. It's like a whole bunch of information, and it's not like, it's not realistic to expect us to process all that information at once. So like our brain uses heuristics or these shortcuts to try and process all that information. And like I was talking about how I was excited because this is one of my favorite lectures because it means I get to mess with my students, because the easiest way to demonstrate heuristics is to demonstrate when they go horribly, horribly wrong. And then I was saying, I use a metaphor for heuristics that is like it's editing a reality show. Your brain is basically editing a reality show. And I asked my students, like, hey, let's say you have like thousands of hours of footage and you need to condense it into like 15 to 20 hours for a season of television. And on this slide, I have pictures of popular reality shows, but these reality shows haven't been popular in a billion years, and I was trying to figure out what the youth are watching What reality shows the youth TM are watching? Hey Sparky, welcome! Life is going better now that I've figured out what the heck was going wrong with everything, and now that I noticed that I made shenanigan mistakes. Yeah, life is going well now. I hope that your life is going well as well. Mm-hmm. I'm currently trying to figure out which reality shows are popular with the youth TM so that I can put them on the slide. And I've been searching, and I think I'm going to be forced to use Love Island as an example again. Like game shows, like reality shows, like the ones that like track people around, like follow them around. It could be a competition show, like I don't know, like American Idol. It could be like just one of like The Real Housewives or Big Brother, where they like follow people around and film them. Hell's Kitchen is good. Hell's Kitchen is good. I don't know reality shows were still a thing. Yeah, I guess they still kind of are. Like dating shows and things like that. They're not as much of a thing, but like my brain was like, I think this is actually like I think about this in context of YouTube a lot, but like one of the shows that came to mind that had a lot of buzz recently that I would consider a bit of a reality show was the Beast Games. But I don't think that that would be a good example for this. But yeah, maybe, but like a lot of YouTube videos are like this too. They follow the same principles of like, let's say I filmed, like, I went on an awesome trip, and then I film like a billion things during the trip, and then I have to like pick which bits are the best bits that I think people will actually be interested and care about. The principle still stands. I just think reality show is a better shorthand than like, well, I guess travel vlogger might be a good thing. I don't know how popular that, like, how widely watched those things are. I don't know. I guess, like, if you're making TikTok videos too, that's kind of the extreme version of this, because you've got to compress it down to a really, really, really small amount of footage from what is probably a lot of footage, but well, depending on what type of video. I'm overthinking this. Huge travel vlogs are pretty good. Yeah, I don't actually watch that many travel vlogs, but maybe I should do that. I watched it a lot. All right, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use a reality show and like a travel vlog or something like that. And so you have like a whole bunch of footage. You have a ridiculous, disgusting amount of footage. And you need to cut it down into like a 5 or 10 minute video for well, maybe a travel vlog can be like a 20-minute thing, or like if you for a reality show, of course, you got thousands of hours of footage and you've got to cut it down into like, like a season of TV or whatever. That's kind of the idea. Just anything where you probably have a stupid amount of footage. Like, I think reality shows are a great example because they're just filming people for their entire day. You can do it how streamers clip their streams. Ooh, that could work too. I think part of it with the reality shows is the best example, because one of the things that I want students, like I'm asking students to be like, how would you do this? What would you try and do to like pare down this footage? And one of the things that I'm looking for them to respond with is create a narrative, like create a story. Try and find clips that you can put together into a coherent story kind of deal. Which I guess like drama tubers to an extent also do that. Though usually they already have kind of a story that they're getting at, as opposed to like creating a story or trying to find a story. I think reality show is unfortunately still the best example of this. But I'll use Hell's Kitchen in here as well. Because like they started uploading a whole bunch of or no, I was thinking of Kitchen Nightmares. But Hell's Kitchen absolutely works as well. Maybe you can... Oh, yeah. No, I already read that. I already read... But yeah, Hell's Kitchen, American Idol... Hell's Kitchen recently came back, didn't it? Or what? Maybe I'm thinking of... I don't know what I'm thinking of. Like you said, bird brain, bird brain. There's nothing going on in this head of mine at any given moment. All right. I think these slides are pretty good though. I'm pretty happy with the slides that I currently have. So I probably don't need to worry about this too much. Maybe we could even do 2 PowerPoints in a single stream. That would be pretty impressive. But yeah, Clippers, I think to some extent do this. They'll watch like hours and hours of stream content and find just the really good stuff. And to some extent, that's like a part of what I was trying to get at, but it's not the whole thing I was trying to get at. Where can I find Aikman clips? There's a single Aikman clip that I am currently aware of. It is a clip where I was on Side Area's stream and we talked about beans. I forget. I should know who did this. Did I ever favorite that? I need to start clipping my own streams. I've been thinking about like making some shorts lately. But that would require me to actually go back and watch my VODs.
Okay.
Let me...
This time.
Here, I'm gonna link... This is the one clip that I'm involved in that I'm aware of. And it's of one of Sai's streams. I'm in the second half of it. It was... Shinsta. Yeah, Shinsta clipped it. I wish you had some... you had some embarrassing clips to animate. I know, right? Yeah, I definitely have a lot of embarrassing things in stream, but I don't... They haven't been clipped, so I'm safe. Oh, I know some Astro... I bet there's definitely at least one that comes to mind immediately, but... Maybe I should do that myself, just to be like, I'm owning it. Because if you own something embarrassing, it becomes less embarrassing, I think, you know? I'm struggling to own that one, though. I'm trying. And I'm failing miserably. But that's the problem of yapping. If you yap just uncontrollably, you're gonna say something that people take out of context and you regret, right? It's gonna happen at some point or another. Let's see. I think I'm pretty happy with this lecture, generally speaking, though. I probably don't need to do much to it. Very soon, V-Theorem will be a circus first, scientist second. It feel like that sometimes. Send me some... No! You're collaborating! It's terrifying! Please be kind! It's okay. I am the whole circus, so it's fine. Just don't... I have fears. I guess the least I can do is like check if this is animated. We like but if there's any clips or things that you'd like to see me clip, there's like a couple of things I have in the back of my head that I would love to clip of myself, but of course, it's not as fun when you're clipping yourself, because I don't know what is entertaining to all of you. I know it's entertaining to me, but I also deeply acknowledge that my taste is questionable at best. I thoroughly enjoy some objectively bad things, you know? So, like, I know that I'm not a good judge of what might entertain others. Oh no. I think it's in Z's clip channel in Discord. Oh no, it would be too, wouldn't it? Now, I want to find out. I want to find out if this is the clip that I'm thinking of. Where would that be? Where would that be? You could also say it for the clips. I could say it for the clips, but I'm not going to. And actually, it doesn't make sense in the current context that we're in. It wouldn't make any sense in the current context that we're in. There's something I specifically created this context, so saying it in this context would make zero sense. I built this environment that we are currently in, so that quote would not work. I dedicated dozens of hours to making sure our current environment would make that quote completely irrational. Oh no, you found it? That was so quick. That was so quick. Extra. Please have mercy on me. Yes.
Yeah. About me. This is
The audio is probably better from yeah. Unfortunately, like whenever I do a collab over Discord, my audio's especially sucky. I think I probably need to invest in a better mic in general. I've been meaning to like I'm planning on doing a song cover. That's a secret that I have. And to do that, I think I either need to get a better mic or go and sing at the library, but I think I'd be too embarrassed to sing at the library. So Poggers, hey, I'm sorry for the shenanigans of the. It sounds great here, so it might be a Discord thing. I'm glad. Yeah, I think, well, when I'm going through OBS, when my voice is going through OBS, it's going through a whole bunch of like filters and noise gates and stuff like that. But when it's going through Discord, it doesn't have any of that. It's just that's my raw. Give me $5 and I'll sing on the streets. I'll sing on the streets, but quietly when I think no one can hear me. You know, like I'll sing on the streets when I think that I'm alone, and then like somebody will walk up behind me and I'll realize that I wasn't alone and they probably heard me and they'll give me a little look and I just die inside. This is not an uncommon occurrence.
me. Look at my beautiful.
I'm trying to figure out. I want to watch this clip. I'm 99% certain this is the clip that I think it is, but yep, that was exactly what I thought it was. Dang it, Astral. Dang it, Astral. I will never live that down. That was like, it's fine. It's fine. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed. But yeah, I'm planning on doing a song cover at some point in the future, and I'm very excited about it, and I'm terrified. I love singing, but I don't know if I'm any good at it. See, that's the struggle. When you're like deeply, hello, Mr. Kibble. When you're deeply self-conscious about like your voice and you don't know if you're good at singing, I'm too afraid to sing in front of other people, and therefore I have no way to judge if I'm actually good at singing because other people don't hear me sing. It's a vicious cycle. But luckily, I happen to have acquired some friends who do a lot of song covers. There's another, I think, but it's in the stats course thing, so oh, good. It's buried under a bunch of statistics. I can't even think of what that one would be, and I'm not sure if I want to know. Oh, I'm scared. Maybe I'll go back and watch those videos to see if I could, because there's this one clip somewhere in one of the stats videos that I think is actually really good, because I managed to, I don't know if it was a stats video or even a paper reading video. That's the problem. I don't remember, but like I managed to perfectly demonstrate the the anchoring and adjustment effect on everybody, and I was so proud of myself, and I really want to clip it. Because, like, when I try and do that with my students, it doesn't work too well. That's actually in this lecture. This is the lecture where I talk about it. And the problem is, I spend this entire lecture messing with my students' heads to demonstrate all these heuristics, and therefore it doesn't actually work all that well. Because by that point, they're like, we know you're messing with us. I remember the context is that I was playing PLA while listening and found a satchel from someone else with a weird feet-based name. No! By the way, what I meant when I said, like, invested dozens of hours into preventing that clip from making sense in this context, I mean, I don't have feet anymore. I felt so strongly embarrassed about that clip that I simply removed my feet. Listen, I can explain what happened there, but also I don't really want to. I'm just gonna zoom in on my face. It's for the betterment of mankind. How far does it go up? Does what go up? How far can I zoom in? This is better without explanation. Hey, Torgos, this is as far as I can zoom in. This is as close as I can get. I don't think that's what you were asking, but... Oh, I've had my sweat drop on this whole time and I didn't even notice. Hi. The feet, I mean. Oh. I don't have feet. I don't have any feet. I simply have really long legs that end without any feet at all. It's very pointy. The points, they go very far. I am very tall. Do I have knees? I do have knees, fortunately. Either very long feet or infinitesimal. I don't have feet at all. No. No. Legs that go all the way down every detective's nightmare. It's true. They should put me in a noir movie. Oh, I will cause all of the problems. Not the least because I'm a cryptid. No, it's not the fact that I am a being that is not supposed to exist on this earth. It's the fact that my legs are incredibly, incredibly long. Oh, look at me. I should make them longer. I should make them even longer. Look how tall I am. Isn't that beautiful? Actually, it's funny because, like, in terms of V theorem, I'm probably actually... I'm the second... No, I might be the third tallest, but, like, I am above the average height in V theorem because it's a very skewed distribution. Phi and Z are incredibly short. I like my face being very... Gardevoir feet pic... No! We're not talking about feet! This is a... This is a... You know what? You know what you... We're putting the eye bags on, because that's how I feel. We're gonna make it even worse. Uh, this is the current mood, everybody. This is the current mood. Oh no! Have mercy. Have mercy on a poor, unfortunate moth. I had to go turn. Why do I don't know? Don't ask me. That's all on Torgos. That's not me. I had nothing to do with that. That's all on them. That's them. That's not me. When people say I like feet, I don't. That's not me. That's you. That's all you. Uh, look, look. I notoriously hate feet. I hate feet. Feet are the worst. If you've ever seen a drawing, I gave myself Gardevoir. Did I? Did I? How long before I give up hands? That's a great question. Actually, my first model doesn't have hands. My very first model that I ever had. Maybe I should pull that one out. Wow, we're getting stuff done today, aren't we? Give me a second. I'm gonna... My very first model ever. In fact, the original intent was that I would never show you my hands ever. The original intent. So here's my first model ever. This was by Lily Lyrical. And the original intent was that I would never ever show you my hands. They would always be covered by my sleeves. And the implication was that I had wings under there, but no. Alright, I'm going back. I'm going back to being a nightcrawler. Wait, secret lore? Maybe. Actually, does my... I kind of want to... Trying to remember if I can hide my... I don't remember my toggles. Oh yeah, this was intended to... This was intended to hide my hands on this model. If I wanted to. It's the secret. The secret. Burb. Yeah. She's a little burby. She's a little burby. But no, the secret is that I was never supposed to show my hands in the first place, but now I show my hands, so you're just gonna have to deal with it now. Oh no, I took off my wrist brace. I don't know if I remember how to put my wrist brace back on. I really need to be better about figuring out which toggles are which. Where is my wrist brace? There's my wrist brace. Missed anything after my last message? I was clipping. What were you clipping? What were you clipping? What were you doing? I don't trust you. You're all up to things. You're all messing with me all the time. Okay, I'm putting this face back on because this is the current mood. We're keeping it like this. It's staying like this for the foreseeable future because I am now living on the edge. I am on edge. I am nervous. I don't put the clown make. I'm just deeply anxious. No. Do I have any clown makeup worthy models on here? I have a lot more models on my laptop. I could put on the astrologer model, but I probably shouldn't do that. We're gonna stick with this. I need to make more models so I can just change models on the flip at the flip of a coin or whatever it is, whatever the phrase is. I already know what my next model is gonna be. I kind of want to get to working on that, but I feel like I haven't used this one enough. This is still relatively new. Okay. Social cognition, right? We were working on slides, right? That's that. We were getting stuff done. If I get stuff done. I just have now realized I have nowhere to actually put the clip. This is how I get you. If you want me to have a Discord where clips can go, I need to get to 500 subscribers. And even then, I might not do it, because I'm a coward. Yeah, I genuinely do not know. I'm sorry. I'm just a small, tiny egg with no brain. It's okay, Z's server is cozy. That's true, Z's server is cozy. Just put it, just put it. Oh, see, Alex gets it. Alex is defending me in Z's server. Alex is defending me in Z's server. See, Alex understands. I drew those feet myself, and that's why I was proud of them. Because it's really hard to draw the feet. It's really hard to draw the feet, okay? I can put it in Z's and hope no one notices. People are actively talking in that channel. They'll notice. They'll notice. No, I don't. No! No! Ah! I didn't. This is entrapment. This is entrapment. This is entrapment. I've been entrapped. See, 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 see. Mr. Kitty, save me. He's napping. He doesn't even care that I'm in deep distress right now. He's just sleeping. No! Don't tag Z. I'm gonna text Z at this point. Like, if this goes on, I'm going to text Z. My Z! 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 Bullying me! They're bullying me, Z! They're bullying me! I got tricked me. They entrapped me. They made it seem like I was saying something that I wasn't saying, and then they clipped it and they put it on your Discord, Z. You need to ban them. That's your clips channels for clips of you. It's not for clips of me. You need to get rid of it. You need to get rid of it. It bamboozle. I was not bamboozled. I didn't say anything wrong. No. I don't. I'm scared to. I haven't even. I forgot. That was one of you. That was one of you. That was Carlos. I was trying to say that. That wasn't it. I didn't say anything. I didn't. I didn't. Why? What have I done to deserve this? I was just trying to spread joy in science. I was just trying to spread joy in science to the world. I have done nothing wrong in my entire life. Even my cat is checking on me. He's making concerned noises at me. Look what you've done. You've made Soma worry. You've made Soma worry. Wow, I agree, Soma. They're being mean to me. Oh, no. Thank you, thank you. You should apologize to poor Soma. Oh, good Soma. I threw him a toy and he's playing with the toy. He's happy now. No. Not like this. Not like that. I can never have a model with feet again. No. Oh God. Please no. Please. Oh, thank God. I had a moment of terror, but okay. Is anyone else's audio glitching? My voice is glitching. Only half bodies for Aikman, it's true. I'm just gonna become disembodied. I'm revoking model privileges. This is how it is. Targamus, why are you doing this to me? This is so unfair. What have I ever done to you? Is it the stats? Is it the stats? Is it because I subjected you to statistics? Please forgive me. I think I've screwed up my throat too. The sheer level of distress. No feet. You're the ones who like the feet, not me. I'm gonna go save I'm gonna go save my cats. You just woke up today and showed. You did. This is terrible. I'm gonna go help my cat. There. Go chase toy. Go chase toy, Mr. Kitty. Okay. Every day. Every day I suffer a little more than I did the day before. Good boy. I'm glad you're happy. I'm glad at least one. I am going. The root of suffering is just. It's your desire to mess with me. That's the root of the suffering. I need to get back to work. I don't want to. I'm gonna get back to work. I understand, but I don't defend. My voice is getting all screwy now. Okay. Mr. Kitty, we're going back. We're going back into work mode. We're gonna do it. We are going to feel better about ourselves. Wait. Okay. Okay. We're good. I am feeling fresh. I am happy. Nothing happened. Everything is over. Let's talk about the nature of social cognition. It's fine. Nothing happened. Right, Z? Nothing happened. Nothing has ever happened. Not a sound. Not a sound. Not a thing. There is no clip. There's nothing. There is only science. Sometimes I remember that the head of my department is aware that this YouTube channel exists. And you never know when she might be tuning in. I don't think she's ever tuned in, and I hope it stays that way. We laugh so we don't cry. Imagine this is the one time, please no. Please, oh great and powerful head of the department. This is not what things are normally like, I promise. They're just messing with me. I checked my email and I don't have any emails from I'll attempt to be normal in mileage. It's okay, Sparky. Just follow your dreams. It's fine. It's fine. I don't think she'll ever watch this. Okay, okay. I'm saying again, watch me get an email that's like, oh, I'm watching. I would scream so loud. I would short out my mic. Okay, okay. We're gonna focus. We're gonna do it. We're gonna work. You know, I said I don't want to work today, but I think I want to work. I've got to go to a meeting, but good luck with her. Thank you. I hope the meeting goes well. I promise this will be a hidden. Thank you. I tried being normal once. Worst 10 seconds of my life. It's fair. Have a good meeting, Z. I'm so sorry that you happened to tune in right then. It was like we summoned you, actually. I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, have a good meeting. Take care. You know, I'm a parent. My poor children. Sigh. Other undisclosed child. I'm so sorry that this is who your parent is. I'm so sorry that it's come to this. Okay. Okay. Ugh. Alright, the concept of naive realism. Naive realism is a really interesting concept. It's like, it's so easy to think, this is like a thing that gives me an existential crisis, right? Because like, it's really easy to think that the things that we are perceiving, like what we see and feel and hear, is objective reality, but that's not how it works, actually. Naive realism is our mistaken belief that our perception is an accurate reflection of reality. And like, it's not. Because everything that we see and perceive is filtered through our own biases and stuff. We talked about this a bit like yesterday on the stream when we were talking about like belief in things like conspiracy theories and misinformation and stuff. It's like that whole deal. Yeah. Okay. And this is where I get to start messing with people. Stroop task. The Stroop task. Have any of you ever done the Stroop task before? I really like the Stroop task. I found a way to cheat at the Stroop task, which means I should never be allowed to take a study that involves the Stroop task. The Stroop task is that one where you like all the never heard of it. Oh yeah, so you might never have heard of it, but you might not have known the name, but you probably would recognize it if I showed it to you. Let me show you the Stroop task. So here's the, let me grab this. Okay, so here's the Stroop task. Here's the Stroop task. And what happens is you'll get a list that either looks like the one on the left or the one on the right. And your goal is to select the correct color of the text on screen. And sometimes, yeah, exactly, it's this one. This is the Stroop task. And sometimes, like, the word that is there, the text will match the color. So you'll have red in red text, or green in green text, or blue, and so on. But sometimes the color of the text will not match the content of the text. So for this first thing here, you're supposed to say the word green, because the text is green. But it's very tempting to say the word blue, because the text says blue, even though the text color is green. And that's the Stroop task. The Stroop task is all about messing with your head, essentially. It's like, it's measuring controlled cognition, because it actually takes a fair amount of effort to notice, to be able to ignore what the text says, to say just what the color of the text is. And that's the Stroop task. I've actually participated in some studies where I had to do the Stroop task. It's kind of fun. And that's an example of, like, how we have a lot of difficulty, or we can have a lot of difficulty, controlling our cognition and ignoring irrelevant information. Like, the text that you're reading, what the text says, is completely irrelevant to the task. It doesn't matter what word is there. The only thing that matters is the color of the text. But we are still slowed down by the word itself, even though we shouldn't be paying attention to the word at all. It's like, it's a really good example of how irrelevant information that's completely unrelated to what we're trying to accomplish, can affect our thoughts. That's the Stroop task. Yeah, but yeah, like I told you, like, you may not know the name, but you've probably seen it, because it's just a funny thing that people like to do to mess with other people sometimes. I wonder if I should make my students do it. I don't know. It's hard to, like, a lot of these heuristics don't work as well if I'm doing them to a whole group all at once. But, like, it's just, I use that one as a demonstration of, like, hey, look, if this is, like, if such a simple thing where there's only two pieces of information, what the text says and the color of the text, and it's already, like, interfering with your ability to think, what do you think it's like, in the real world, where there's a billion different types of information, and it's not just sight, it's also sound, it's smell, it's taste, it's touch. What's another example that's similar to the Stroop test? I have a couple other examples in here. So, like, maybe I should show you my actual PowerPoint for this bit, because I have a lot of fun examples in here. Does this one work? Yeah. Here's what I'm working on right here. So here's another example. What is in the middle of the screen right now? What's in the middle of the screen? $13, right? What is it now? Yeah. Oh, that is freaky, right? Right? Exactly, exactly. This is another example of that. Like, this in the middle here is not necessarily 13. It's just a straight line and a squiggly line. If I surround it by numbers, it looks like a 13. If I surround it by letters, the exact same thing looks like the letter B. But in both cases, it's just some pixels on a screen. It doesn't necessarily have meaning in and of itself. I'm only asking you about what's in the middle. You don't need, there's no reason to pay attention to any of the other information. I know it still does kind of look like a 13. But the idea is you interpret the same pixels differently based on their surroundings, right? I see the B, but I have to try. Yeah, it is a bit, like, this one had to be a bit forced. There's an illusion that, Sidere has talked about. They actually use this in the Apothecary Diaries as a plot point. So, Sometimes you'll have like ambiguous stimuli. So this thing in the middle that could look like either a 13 or a B, that's an ambiguous stimuli. Other ambiguous stimuli might look something like this. So I want you to pay attention to the feathers on my head. Now, what does this look like? What is this? What's in this picture? Look at that feather. I have a feather on my head. What's in the picture? Bunny. Okay, fair enough. The idea of this particular image is that it can look like a bunny, especially when it's oriented like this. It looks like a bunny. You know, there's the eye, there's the nose, there's the ears. If I rotate it a bit, though, it might start to look a bit more like a duck. Here's the eye, here's the beak, right? And sometimes when we have ambiguous stimuli like that, I just see the eye and see the albator. Yeah. Hey, that's a bird. Gull. Yeah, right? Right? Yeah, the whole thing here is like, if there's something ambiguous, like this line and scribble, the context can affect how we interpret it. And a lot of the things that we encounter in life are pretty ambiguous. You know, like there's not a clear answer to a lot of different things. I'm gonna take that out of the way now. I've got some others in this PowerPoint. I'll see if I can find some good ones. Because the whole point of this is to mess with heuristics. Actually, let's test out these heuristics on all of you. Does that sound okay? Are we reigniting the dress debate? The dress debate is like, the dress debate is part of this. The whole like black and blue versus white and gold thing. That's part of this. But that's also like a color theory thing. Mm-hmm. Which I guess color theory to some extent is also based on this, actually. So maybe this is, yeah, the dress debate, I would say, is also related to this. Let's see. So, all right, schemas. Schemas, how do you act? Yeah, schemas, da da da. I think this is fine. A lot of this is fine. This isn't really a lecture that I need to update too much, I don't think. Which is nice. This would work if you show a typography nerd a font name in the wrong font, right? It might, yeah. You know, I'm actually friends with a lot of graphic designers. Maybe I should try it on them. That would be like a modified Stroop task that only works on graphic designers. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. Maybe, I wonder if I could get them on stream and mess with them. All right, okay. So I'm gonna show you, let's demonstrate in another one. Let's demonstrate in another one. I'm gonna use the examples I have in the lecture, because coming up with examples on the fly can be a little hard. But here's another thing where your brain does weird stuff, okay? What if I say the nun was unhappy with the amount of alcohol at the party? What do you think that means? When I say the nun was unhappy with the amount of alcohol at the party, what's that mean? It's one thing with common knowledge like colors and rabbits, but where's the cutoff? Really weird and niche knowledge. Like, it just depends on how invested you are. Torgamus, are you messing with me on purpose? Guy, thank you. Welcome, Guy, and thank you so much for playing along. Yeah, nuns don't like alcohol and drunkenness. Yeah, it's pretty easy to interpret that as the nun probably was unhappy that she was feeling Sparky. Come on, play along, play along. But yeah, normally you'd interpret that as like the stereotype of nuns is that they don't like, you know, like they don't like excess and things like that. So they're unhappy. They think there's too much alcohol at the party. But then if you change the sentence to the rock star was unhappy with the amount of alcohol at the party, you might assume that rock stars have a reputation for partying, so they probably think there isn't enough alcohol. The only thing I've done is, change the occupation of the person in the sentence. I've given you no other information, but we're bringing stereotypes about nuns and rock stars to this to interpret the unhappy with amount of alcohol, because that's pretty ambiguous. To be honest, I associate monasteries with brewing, so yeah, fair enough. Maybe this is like a cultural thing too. I know different cultures have different like relationships with alcohol in general. America's weird about it. Americans can get kind of weird about it. I wonder if it's all about like the prohibition stuff. And anyway. And of course, like different religions also have very different relationships with alcohol as well, which is complex. Maybe I should come up with a different example. Like, I need to come up with something. I think I can leave it as is because it tends to work with my students, or at least they tend to understand what I'm getting at, and I think that's really what matters. But if I was doing this for all of you, I think I would have to adjust what I was doing. Okay, here's another one. Oh, actually, this. Oh. So after weighing all the circumstances, the CEO decided that they would have to terminate a few employees. What has the CEO done? Or what is the CEO gonna do? Firing people, right? Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, I just closed the chat. Ah! Yeah, the CEO has probably just fired some people, right? Yeah. Lay off workers, gonna fire some people. Now, what if I change that a little bit? What if I change this sentence to, after weighing all the circumstances, the gangster decided that they would have to terminate a few employees. What is the gangster gonna do? Throw him in the river, gonna fire in quotation marks. Yeah, it is. The point, Torgmouse is exactly right. The point is that this is ambiguous. We don't know anything about these people other than their job titles, or like we have exactly one piece of information about these people, which is one is a CEO and the other's a gangster. And the term terminate is ambiguous. And we're using our stereotypes about the type of business that these people are in and the types of things that we think CEOs and gangsters do to fill in the blank about what terminate means in this context, right? We're using stereotypes. We're going beyond the information that we're given. We're making assumptions based on stereotypes that go beyond the information that we've been given. And that's one of the fun things I get to mess with my class with. That's the thing. Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, oops. Uh, thanks. I figured. This is why you should avoid euphemisms if you enter organized crime. Or maybe that's better maybe that's why you should use euphemisms if you in organized crime. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Ah. Okay, all right. So examples of more like specific ways that this affects our life, the hostile media effect. We tend to assume that news channels that we did first feet and now the mafia. Shut up. Oh no. Oh no. I'm sorry, I checked my phone and Z was watching me outside. Other people might have overheard that. This is fine. Anyway, I'm not gonna call this scuff because if I don't call it scuff, it's not scuff, right? Anyway, Yeah, hostile media. Da, 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 da. Many things in this. In the blah, 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 blah. All right, I've got another one. Got another one. Actually, I'm gonna mess with y'all a little bit more. Okay. There we go. Um, oh, this doesn't work. I messed it up, but that's fine. I give up. Whatever. I have other examples. It's fine. I have other examples where I get to mess with people. And frankly, I'm messing with myself at the end of the day. But isn't that the whole point of this? We're all in this together, right? You know, I quote High School Musical way too much for somebody who has never seen High School Musical. Maury was saying that we should go watch High School Musical at some point, but frankly, I think it's a lot funnier if we never watch High School Musical. Like, if neither of us watches High School Musical, but we just keep quoting it forever and ever and ever. I think that's funnier. Just quoting something that we've never seen. You're not missing out. On one hand, I feel like I'm not missing out. On the other hand, like, there have been times in my life with I work with a lot of people who were younger than me and who were really into High School Musical, and I feel like I'm missing like a bit of a cultural touchstone-y thing, you know? The High School Musical osmosis was aggressive. It's true. I've talked about it before, but I worked at a summer camp. I worked at a summer camp, and part of that was when High School Musical was really big. And so there were a lot of kids who were super into it. It's like making fun of Twilight, but never having read it. I've at least read Twilight. Oh man, that reminds me. I actually I've been in a journal club with like some of the top psychologists in the country discussing Twilight. Ah, the good old day. We were reading a paper that was talking about hate reading. So, or like hate, like anti-fans, people who hate a thing. And I had to talk about, like, I was the only one in that room. Well, we were all discussing the paper as part of a journal club, but I was the only one in the room who'd actually read Twilight. Edward or Jacob? Why are you I never said that I was a Twilight fan. I just said that I'd read it. I think there's a fundamental difference between making fun of something and quoting it neutrally, yeah. Um, but if I had to say Jacob, I would be Team Jacob. But frankly, okay, so here's the problem. Yeah, I actually want to do studies on hate watching. But here's the problem with Twilight, okay? With the whole Team Edward or Jacob thing. Bella doesn't deserve Edward's baggage, and Jacob doesn't deserve Bella's baggage. Okay? Okay? I don't think there's a healthy ship anywhere in that triangle. Mm-mm. No. This is my... Didn't he pair bond with a kid or something? I don't know how to respond to that other than just sigh really, really hard. Like, that wasn't something he had control over, but the author absolutely had control over that. And what? You just summed up the whole of their relationships? Yeah. Like, some people I know enjoy unhealthy relationships in fiction, and, like, good for them. That wasn't even, like, the kind of enjoyable unhealthy relation. Jacob is a good boy, though. Jacob was just doing his best. See, one of the worst parts about Twilight, if I may go on another tangent, is the sheer amount of wasted potential in that story. They're like focusing on Edward and Bella when those are two of the least interesting characters in the entire story. Like Stephanie Meyer sets up some really interesting characters. You have like Alice, who's like a vampire who can see the future and is whimsical and has gone through a lot, who is in a relationship with basically a vampire child soldier, and they like met, and like Alice grew up in like a mental asylum because people didn't believe that she could see the future, and it's like Cassandra truth thing going on, and then her boyfriend is like, and like wasted potential can really drive a fandom. Yeah, like in a lot of places it can. I don't know here, but yeah, like those two characters in particular, Alice and her boyfriend, whose name I cannot remember right now, just like dropping like these lore bombs of like, or like these like really interesting facts, and it's like you're gonna follow up on that, right? And then it's like never mentioned again. That's the same reason why book 4 of the Twilight series, Breaking Dawn, was so like, I was watching a Watch Mojo thing the other day of like the most disappointing movie endings, and Breaking Dawn's was in there because like basically they set up this whole thing where like the Cullens, which is the family Edward belongs to, this family of vampires, is gonna go and fight like the council of vampires, and there's gonna be this giant vampire war with all this epic battle, and they actually show you that in the Breaking Dawn movies, and then it turns out it was basically all a dream. It was Alice having a premonition of what would happen if they would fight, and then like they just decide not to fight. And everybody's like, wow, the movie's so disappointing. And they can only say the movie was disappointing because they didn't read the book. See, in the movie, we at least get to see the battle. The book of Breaking Dawn, they spend almost the entire, I guess it's been probably like, it's been really long time since I read this, so I might not be remembering it exactly correctly, but they spend the entire book setting up this giant epic battle between like, I don't know. It's like the final battle of Dragon Ball Z levels of crazy whatever. They make it seem like it's gonna be this epic battle between the most powerful beings on the planet, and it's gonna be incredible and intense and amazing for the entire book. And then Alice just says people are gonna die. They never show us the battle. They never give us any information about the battle. Alice is just like, yeah, it'll go bad. People will die. And then they're like, okay, let's not fight. And then the book ends. At least in the movie, they showed you the battle. Even if the battle didn't actually happen, they at least showed it to you. But in the book, they're just like, it's gonna be terrible. Or like, we're gonna fight, we're gonna fight, we're gonna fight, we're gonna fight. And then they just don't. Anyway, that's my rant about Twilight. Thank you. Yeah, it was stupid. I had no idea this battle would have people die. I know, right? Imagine. It's like, come on. Come on. Oh. Anyway. Anyway. What was I doing? What was I? My brain just shut down. Right, we were working on the lecture. Na, 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 na. Da 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 ba da ba 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 ba. Yeah, I don't think anything in here is stuff that I need to really. Uh, this one doesn't work as well. You were gonna find more ways to mess with our brains. That's true. I'm trying to think of like a very wholesome media figure. Who's a very wholesome figure in popular media? See, my problem is like my mother calls me culturally deprived. I'm only really familiar with anime and manga and stuff. I don't know anything about popular media in the West. Mr. Rogers. That's a good one. Oh, darn. I can't. No, Mr. Rogers is too wholesome. That's the problem with this one. Um, let's see. So also that's not, well, let's see. Let's check. Yeah, no, Bob Ross, I think is, yeah, Bob Ross is too, Bob Ross is too wholesome. Dang it, Bob Ross. Why didn't you let me down? Wholesome, but not too wholesome. SpongeBob. The problem is, okay, so like, I'm not going to use this to mess with all of you. I'm sorry. The point here is I'm trying to make a point about first impressions, and right now I have a picture of a very young Bill Gates being arrested. And the point is like, hey, what do you think about this guy? And the first thing they see is a picture of some guy being arrested. And then I'm like, by the way, shocker, that was Bill Gates. But I don't think that works very well. I want to find somebody who's like wildly respected, but I can give people the wrong first impression about them. Went through that with Bill Cosby in reverse. That's true. That's true. That's very, very true. Anyone I can give a bad first impression that people will suddenly be shocked when I say this is who this person really is. Wasn't Bob Ross a soldier for a while? Martin Luther King, I probably could. Oh! Oh my gosh, Astral, that's a great one. That's a great one. I can find a picture of Bob Ross as a soldier. There we go. That's a good one. What do you think about this guy? What was his career? Soldiers have bad impression. No, no, I don't think well, it depends. Um, Christopher Columbus, but yeah, I'm definitely not doing Christopher Columbus. No, I don't want to. I don't want to get involved in that. No, I think Bob Ross, it's not so much about a bad first impression, it's a misleading first impression. So if I show you an image of a soldier, and maybe I say, what do you think this guy does? Like, what kind of career did this guy go on to have? What did he do with his life? What would you say about his personality? What, like that kind of thing. I think it's highly unlikely that my students would be able to guess that this picture of this soldier became a beloved painting instructor. That's kind of the thought I'm going with. Uh, does that make sense? I think that makes sense. Just something like, yeah, yeah, okay, thanks. But if any of you have better ideas, I'm totally open to them because I can't think of anything. I'm bad at this. Dang it. Oh well. I'm just thank you all for your contribution. I deeply appreciate V Shoujo had a pretty misleading first right? I think V Shoujo I shouldn't I feel like I shouldn't talk too much about that, but I think in this context with this audience that all of you that I'm talking to right now, I think that would be a good example of like first impressions being misleading. I'm gonna guess that the vast majority of my students have no idea what V-shoujo is. Oh, metal band singers, that's a pretty good one too. I also think like, hmm, hmm. Yeah, I think one example that I use in a later lecture is Martha Stewart. You know what? Show them your avatar. No, no. I mean, eventually, I think I've already had one student find my YouTube channel at one point. Um, but I kind of want to minimize that for the sake of my sanity. What does this anime bird person do? Right? Right? The baby Hitler image. Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. I guess there's probably a lot of things I can do with like young children who grew up to be horrible, horrible people. I think it's more fun to go the other way around. Like, here's an image of somebody who looks like a horrible person who ended up being a really chill person. But, the Bob Ross example is not really either of those things, but I think it's good enough. I think it's pretty good. Young, stop, stop. We're going with Bob Ross, okay? We're going with Bob Ross. Oh. I want you all to know that Z is laughing at me. Z is laughing at me right now. Okay. We have finished. We finished it. Oh my gosh. We finished a lecture. Z is laughing at me over text. I don't know if she can see anything that you say. She was typing. She stopped typing. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Should we try and do another lecture? Because that one went by pretty fast. We can start going on the close relationships lecture. I think that could be fun. Right? Tell Z all of us said hi. Okay. I'll tell Z that you say hi. Chat says hi. Okay. Something close relationships, imagine knowing things about close relationships. Couldn't be me. Maury, if you're here, I'm sorry. I'm joking. Okay. Oh, this is a cool study. See, this is another example of one of those studies where it's like, man, this study's really old. It's from the 1950s, but they used to conduct studies that were way cooler than a lot of the studies we conduct today. They weren't all that concerned with internal validity or generalizability, so they did really cool stuff. But now we have to worry about stuff like replicability and internal and external validity and things, so we don't do as many fun things. Oh. Oh, man. You know what's a fun word? Propinquity. Sorry, I get to talk about that word in this lecture. I should check if this is replicated, though. That's part of one of the things that I need to do. Festinger, Schachter, and Back, 1950. I wonder if anyone could replicate this study. This study involved randomly assigning students to dorm rooms and then tracking them. Actually, that probably isn't too bad. Uh-oh. Z says hi. Z also says that she is very zaffinated right now. Caffeinated with a Z. Zaffinated. I'm a little afraid. Mm-hmm. Dear God, I know, right? Propinquity in attraction. I'm afraid too, frankly. Back when people just let psychologists do whatever if they were holding, right? Oh, the pros and cons. Is this is this the Stanford prison experiment? No, no. This is, I don't know if this one has a cutesy name. But what this this was Festinger, Schachter, and Beck. The Stanford prison experiment did Vsauce cover this one? That's kind of neat. The Stanford prison experiment was Zimbardo, Phil Zimbardo. I think Zimbardo died recently. Have I ever told you, this is my bragging thing, whenever we talk about Zimbardo, I've met Zimbardo's wife. I've met Phil Zimbardo's wife. I barely talk to her because I'm very shy IRL, but I've met her. She was cool. She was a total badass of a woman. I thought it was a creepypasta at first. Yeah, no. No, Festinger, Schachter, and Beck, what they did was they randomly assigned, they took a whole bunch of college freshmen who were going to stay in the dorms, and they randomly assigned them to stay in the, like, different dorm rooms. So it wasn't based on, like, compatibility or roommate quizzes like we sometimes do in these days. It was just solely random assignment. And what they did was they let them live in the dorms, excuse me, for a year. And then at the end of the first year, they asked them to list, like, their best friends that they've made at college. And they were able to cross-reference this with the dorm rooms, and they found that 65% of the friends that people named lived in the same building as them. So 65% of people's friends lived in the same dorm building. 41% of their friends were 41% of next door neighbors indicated that they were close friends. So if you were a next door neighbor with somebody, there was a 41% chance that you were close to them. And 22% of people who lived 2 doors apart said they were close friends, and only 10% of those who lived on opposite ends of the building indicated that they were close friends. So essentially, you were more likely to be friends with people who lived in the same building as you, and the further away you got from somebody, the less likely you were to be their friend in terms of where you lived. So regardless of, like, personality or anything like that, solely based on physical proximity, you were more likely to be friends with people who lived close to you and less likely to be friends with people who lived further away from you, even if it was just sheer college campus stuff. This matches my experience with school. Right? Right? Yeah. You know, I was thinking, like, this is a wild undertaking, but the more I think about it, this probably wouldn't actually be that difficult to do research like this. I wonder if, I don't know if my IRB would let me do this, but I kind of want to see if I can, if I could pull that off. Now let's find a paper from recently that replicates this. Hand propinquity effect. What is this? Hand stimuli proximity, a phenomenon where the proximity of a stimulus to a hand will significantly affect visual cognitive processing. No, that's not quite what I'm talking about right now. Gotta assign dorm rooms somehow, might as well be for a site, right? My university actually allows you to request roommates, though. So to do this study, you would have to basically get rid of, like, roommate quizzes, get rid of requesting roommates, all of that, which would be a bit of a problem. Is this it? Is this one? Interpersonal distance. Assessed participants' attributions when they appeared near and far. Proximity. So this is with images. They gave people pictures. In one picture, the person was standing closer to the camera. In the other picture, somebody was standing further from the camera, and people thought people were more attractive when they were closer to the camera. So clearly, what I need to do to get people to like me is to do all of my streams like this from now on. This is how it's going to be from now on. This is how I'm going to succeed as a VTuber. Very attractive, right? Right? Here, maybe I should take off my feathers. There. Stop! No! No. Sorry. You know, I'm 41% more likable already? I know, right? I'm using science. I'm using science. My model isn't high resolution enough for this. Gonna zoom back out just a little bit. Look at me go. Look how attractive I am. Those eyes are very cool. Thank you. I really like the eyes. I like my eyes here. It's like bisexual lighting, but for eyes. Oh man. Oh no, this means you can see my questionable mouth rigging. I'd like you to impale me with your. This was a mistake. I'm. Okay, we need to go smaller. We need to go small. How small can I? This is as small as I can get. We're going smaller. No, it's not. We're not going back to the feet talk. No, we don't need to go back to the feet talk, I don't think. I think that's completely unnecessary. I think that's not necessary. I'm more comfortable at this distance. Let's stay at this distance for a little bit. This is more comfortable to me. I'm getting closer. Getting closer. Your proximity to myelin might not be super close, but it's never zero. I'm just gonna move over to this side of the screen, I think. I feel safer over here. Whatever you're the most... Thank you, Dargos. just quietly. Just kidding. You can't get rid of me like that. All right. There we go. That's fine. I didn't notice the tail. Oh yeah, it's my ponytail. It's usually hidden behind me, but it exists. I got long hair sometimes too. It's my tail. I think tails are great. I have a tail in my other model too. It's a different kind of tail. I should show that off. Okay. I will show you the tail that I have in the other model as well. That's a big feather, right? Okay, okay. All right. There, I have a tail. It's a little feather tail. Little feather tail. Very nice, isn't it? I need more models so I can keep doing this. I'm just gonna switch between all the models forever. All right, come back. Ha. There we go. There we go. This is my current favorite, though. I like this one best right now. Maybe I should start on my next one already. Why not? The more models, the better. All right, right. We were back to work. We were making sure that this stuff actually replicates so that we can talk about it comfortably. Proximity amplify the relative magnitude of both positive and negative social. However, this effective proximity lead to more extreme positive, selectively weaker for aesthetic attractiveness judgments. It was interpersonal comfort business. I don't like this is a neat. It's good that this replicates, but because these are images and not actual physical proximity, I don't think it's good to like show, hey, this replicates. What you need is a model randomizer. You know, I could easily program a randomizer that would like, I'd have to still manually set the model, but I could easily program some kind of randomizer to choose which model I use for a given stream. That sounds like a lot of fun, I'm not gonna lie. All right. Proximity and mere exposure. Let's see, the behavior, our model stipulates that, okay, so this is a theory paper, not an empirical paper. Proximity, maybe I should, rather than using propinquity, proximity. It's probably a bet. Proximity and mere exposure, investigation of relationship between cross-race friendships and attraction. Classroom seat proximity predicts perfect. This is exactly what I need. All right. So I'm just going to add that citation to this. Replicates with classroom seating charts. Farr and Larson, 2022. The main point here is just to make sure this stuff replicates. Like, I want to make sure that the effects that I'm teaching about are consistent with the current literature, right? You know, like, I don't want to make I want to make sure that I'm teaching things that, to the best of our knowledge, we still know are true. You know? I think that's a very important thing to do. All right, intensification hypothesis. Yeah, I think the other one that I was looking at also does that. So, like, being physically close to somebody doesn't just make you more likely to like them, it also makes you more likely to hate them. Interpersonal proximity intensification hypothesis. So it makes you more likely to like somebody, but it also makes you more likely to hate them. Like, if you already kind of like them, proximity is going to make you like them more. If you already kind of dislike them, it's going to make you dislike them more. All right, and this has been replicated this year. A paper was published in February of this year replicating this. Even with static images. Viranek et al. 2025. There we go. So I'm confirming that that still replicates. I want to make sure nothing but the best for my students, you know, nothing but the best for my students. Look at us go, though. We've already finished one PowerPoint and we're 9 slides into another PowerPoint. Like, holy cow, look at us. We're doing so much better than we have on the last 2 streams. Are you proud of me? I'm proud of me. I am so freaking proud of me. I am the best cryptid ever. Praise me. Worship me. Don't actually do that. I would curl into a ball of embarrassment. And yeah. Familiarity, the mere exposure effect. Thank you for cheering for me, Astral. The support is always deeply appreciated. I also don't want to end the stream, because when I end the stream, I'm gonna feel an obligation to look at that clip, and I'm afraid of what I'm gonna see. Yes, we did it. Yes, yes. It wouldn't have been possible without all of you. Thank you for the hearts and celebrations. All right, mere exposure effect. Let's see. What is something that I can do mere exposure effect? Thank you. Thank you. I need to find something that'll really resonate with my students. I've been using capybaras because that was an inside joke in my class for a long time, but I don't know if we're gonna have any inside joke in this particular class. Now we enter the forever stream, right? It's not a subathon, it's simply a forever stream so that I never have to face the consequences of my actions. We're just gonna stream forever because if we don't end the stream, then I don't have to deal with post-stream clarity. Okay. All right. Let's make sure that the mere exposure effect replicates. Replication. How mere exposure to ideas influence... Okay. Ooh, here's one with conspiracy theories. That's not what I need, though. Replication of, what's this? Social comparison theory. That's not what I need. from memory, the mere exposure effect did replicate. It's something serious and is every the cognitive psychology textbook. Yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that it's been replicated in the past few years, because like there's been a fair number of things like what is it called? Cognitive depletion? What was it? Ego depletion. Ego depletion is an effect. Ego depletion is it was kind of a famous effect in psychology. It was pretty popular. It was in a whole bunch of textbooks and stuff like that. Yeah, thank you, Guy. Ego depletion, and it replicated for a fair amount of time, but then it stopped replicating, and it doesn't replicate anymore. Ego depletion doesn't seem to replicate anymore, but it was in a lot of textbooks, you know? So I want to make sure, like, even if mere exposure effect is like a well-known effect that's in a whole bunch of textbooks, I want to make sure that it's replicated in the past few years, or see if it hasn't replicated. Like, I want to find out one way or another, is it replicating or is it not replicating? Like, have there been any notable, like, things happening in the world of the mere exposure effect? Does that make sense? Yeah, ego depletion, right? The effect of ego depletion, depleted. That's exactly it. Let's see. Mere exposure effect. I might have to use the quotation marks here, because it's not giving me what I want. Oh! What's this? I'm finding things where, depending on the context and the type of person, the mere exposure effect doesn't work. See, this is exactly why I wanted to look into this. So here's one from 2022. 4 experiments assessing mere exposure to neutral phase stimuli in groups of older and younger adult participants online. In each experience, repeated exposure did not increase liking within either age group. Favored the null of no effect. Factor did not reveal any consistent results for the mere exposure. We discussed these findings in relation to other studies reporting mixed evidence for mere exposure effects. See, this is exactly why I wanted to look it up. I wanted to make sure that it replicates, and this is suggesting that maybe it doesn't. I'm gonna have to keep looking in this, but I'm gonna at least make a note in my slides. This may not, this effect has been struggling to replicate recently. Chow, Rhodes, or Chow et al. Let's call that. 2022. Oh, shoot, I closed the things that I needed. But this is exactly why I'm doing this. I want to make sure that I'm teaching the right thing. Let's see. Indicate increased exposure consistently. Furthermore, okay. All right. So some people have been replicating it, others have not. So I'm going to add a slide in here talking about, like, some people are able to replicate it, other people aren't able to replicate it. Take this one with a grain of salt. I think that's how I'm going to frame this. Single exposures have been having difficulty replicating the mirror exposure effect. I think that I'll have to look into this more, but it seems like multiple exposures work for the mirror exposure effect, but a single exposure is having trouble replicating. But I feel like that's kind of worrying for the mirror exposure effect, considering it has the word mirror in the name. You know, mirror exposure effect implies that just exposure is enough to get people to like something. But, so, sorry, I don't think I defined what the mirror exposure effect is. The mirror exposure effect is this effect that psychologists have historically found that just merely being exposed to something makes you like it more. So if you've seen something before, you will like it more than something that you haven't seen before, even if you don't have much experience with it at all. And I'm finding at least 1 or 2 papers that are finding difficulty replicating this. Here's another one. The mirror exposure effect replaced with the major exposure effect or repeated exposure effect, maybe. Or even just calling it the exposure effect, I think would be better than the mirror exposure effect based on this. The uncertainty, we induce positive and negative moods before target exposures. Okay. May be dependent on mood during initial exposure. Central hypothesis, none of the accounts were well supported by data. Tests for mood efficacy of induction procedures in the basic indicated the least present Okay. Isn't mirror exposure you're more favorable towards things you see regularly? It's still mirror exposure. Traditionally, it would be that just any familiarity with something makes you like it more. The problem with multiple exposure effect is that you can't disentangle perceptive memory effect from episodic memory familiarity. Yeah, but I don't think the mirror exposure effect, well, at least in social psychology, the mirror exposure effect doesn't really care if you're talking about semantic versus episodic versus whatever it is, memory. But yeah, I think mirror implies that just a single exposure is enough, but it seems like this is implying that a single exposure is not enough. I'm gonna double check. Oh no, this one is... Actually, Chow et al. Also did multiple exposures, but I prefer cognitive psychology, so it's really important. Fair enough. I prefer social psychology over cognitive psychology. Some haven't been able to replicate this, but others have. I think that's interesting, though. So there might be some, this might suggest that maybe there's some moderator that we're not familiar with. Like maybe there's something that turns this effect off and on that we're not aware of. Maybe there's a reason, say, Chow et al. Didn't find it, but Hepperle and Wolfel and Millett et al. Did find it. I think that's interesting. Like, why does it work in some studies but not others? Is there something about the environment? Is there something about the stimuli? Is there something about the samples? It's interesting, right? Huh. Okay, here's somebody's dissertation looking at it. No evidence of a mirror exposure effect in 1 through 3. Conceptually replicated 2 past experiences show it. Oh. So this person did their dissertation on the mere exposure effect using their own experimental designs that they came up with. They couldn't replicate it, but using past research designs, they were able to replicate it. So it seems like there might be some factor based on how the study is designed that determines whether it replicates or not, suggesting that there is some mediator here. The mere exposure effect on its own doesn't work, but there is some third variable that is determining whether it works or not. And yet others manage to replicate it with some experimental designs, but not others. Test G. So I think we can probably conclude here that the mere exposure effect is probably real, but there's some other factor involved other than just exposure. There's some third variable here that we are not currently aware of that is facilitating the mere exposure effect or suppressing the mere exposure effect. It's not clear right now whether mere exposure effect is the default or whether it's a special circumstance, but there is some third thing, there's something in here, or well, I guess some second thing other than just exposure that can turn the mere exposure effect on and off. And from my very, very surface level Googling and looking at papers, we don't seem to know what that third thing that is turning it on and off is yet. Interesting. So that's interesting. I'm glad I looked this up. I'm glad I checked that. That is cool, actually. Maury's always sharing this one clip of me of this YouTuber saying, "More research must be done." And I kind of feel like I want to put that in this lecture. More research must be done. But I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna put that in. Maybe I should say exciting, adding new brain wrinkles. Exactly. This is an exciting area that's not fully understood. Maybe you can help us figure out what's going on here. That's so interesting. That's so neat. I like it. I mean, like, it's sad that, like, I don't have a clear answer for my students, but it's also kind of neat that, like, you know, it's cool when you discover, like, there's a new frontier here. We didn't know that there was something here before. We just thought it was the simple A to B, but it looks like there's variable C somewhere in here. We thought it was exposure leads to liking, but it seems like there's some third thing in here that affects whether exposure leads to liking. Right? And we don't know what that is yet. I think that's cool. I caught up. Hey, Scarling, welcome! Or hey, Michael. Scarling, Michael, let's go! Welcome, welcome. Happy to have you here. We are still working on updating this thing, and we are gonna get it updated, and we are gonna succeed, and we are gonna win, and we are gonna scream into the void, and we are gonna do a whole lot of stuff. It's gonna be incredible. Actually, we've already done all the screaming into the void. We've gotten that over with. We don't need to scream into the void anymore, right? Right? You're not gonna make me scream into the void anymore, are you, chat? You're gonna be nice to me, right? You're gonna be nice to me. Please be nice to me. I'm just a little guy. Oh yeah, tell me more about it. I couldn't even watch the VODs. Oh yeah, so what was it? What was it? Stuff happened. Chat bullied me. And also, we discovered that the mere exposure effect may not be quite as simple as we had once thought. Isn't that exciting? I think that's exciting. So we've edited one full lecture on social cognition, and currently we are editing the lecture on attraction in close relationships. What makes people become friends with people? What makes people attracted to other people? I'm not talking about this too much. I can facilitate further screaming. I do not doubt your abilities, Torgamus. I do not doubt them in the least. In fact, I live in fear of you now. You are far too powerful for me. You're punching at a higher class than I am. All right, let's so right now we're fact checking one of my lectures. We're making sure that all the things that I have in one of my lectures hold up to the most recent research, because the findings that I'm talking about in these lectures were last fact checked in 2022, and I want to make sure that nothing has like that they all still hold. If I look at the most cutting edge research, that's what we've been doing in these working streams. I'm lost still. How many projects are you working on now? Last one I checked was a 3-episode rule on it. Oh god. I still need to write the discussion section for that paper. I'm thinking the way that and like, if y'all have any ideas on this, I'm not sure how to deal with an APA style paper with this YouTube channel. So I was thinking I would make a short that's just a summary of my results for that one, and then link the paper in the description of the short, so if people want additional information, they can get it. So I've got that under my belt. I'm nearly done with the paper. I just need to write the discussion section, and I've been procrastinating because I don't like writing papers. There's that. The other thing that I need to do is I still need to watch and then do a video on some psychological concept that shows up in the To Your Eternity anime. That is on my radar. And so those are like 2 things that I'm working on for the channel. Also, Saidere has her 2.0 debut coming up at the end of August. And I made her new 2.0 model, so that's something coming up. If it gets enough boom, you could do a video or stream answering FAQ. I would love to do that. I want to do an FAQ or like Q&A stream. I would very much love to do that. Yeah, but I think I want to get a more consistent, a bigger audience before I do something like that. And I think, yeah, maybe I think doing shorts would be helpful for that. Yeah. Yeah. So I think I'll do that. I need to get on that. I really need. We also talked about clipping, like potentially clipping streams, and then that's what led to the bullying. That's what led to the horrible bullying that I endured. Yeah, of course, shorts help a lot. Yeah. I really got to do that. I really got to get on that. I want to do more Fate stuff, speaking of, but I'm not sure what to do with Fate stuff. That's the struggle. I love Fate. I don't know what to do with it. Hell yeah, right? I love Fate. I'm so excited. I've been playing FGO JP. Yeah. I would love to do more Fate stuff. I just don't know what Fate stuff to do. So that's my eternal struggle. I need to figure out how to work statistics and stuff into Fate. Like, I've considered doing a video on the probability in FGO's gotcha, but I think other people have already done that really well, so I don't think I'd be adding anything with that. I don't know. I'll figure something out. I just got Miko, Bavan, and Kuro Avenger. Oh, nice! Congratulations! I stopped playing the EN version, unfortunately. Because, like, maintaining both EN and JP at the same time was too much. I'm really excited for the JP summer event, which hasn't been announced yet, but I imagine it'll be announced at FGO Fest. But I've successfully maxed, well, not completely maxed, but I'm doing pretty well with my Enkidu on FGO JP. They're at NP5. I've maxed all of their skills. I've maxed 4 out of 5 of their append skills. They're at level 120, 2000 foe. Like, well, sometimes I get your support lineup, so I used it every now and then. Oh, good. Maybe I should log in again, because if you don't log in for a long time, support lineup doesn't pop up at the top anymore. Yeah. Probabilities on crit star distributions for 2 casters in an adventure. Oh, maybe. I do have that, where's the thing? One of my videos that I did a while back was just doing servant statistics and stuff like that. Yeah, the anime stats, Fate Grand Order servants, and I had a lot of fun with that. That was looking at, like, just analyzing data set on the current FGO servants that were available at the time. And maybe we can do another one of those with an updated data set. That would be fun. If people have suggestions for things they want to do. Oh, I should keep working on this lecture, though. I think it would be really cool if we could get 2 lectures done in a single class, but if anyone has any ideas for ways I can do statistics or psychology with Fate stuff, I am so down. I know Michael sent me some stuff a while back that I need to look at again. I'm not sure if they were like super psyche stuff or statsy stuff. Like, I would love to do, like, here's... I'll have to see. You know what I have been considering? So many people are getting into Fate that could be a good time. Yeah, yeah. One thing that I have been considering for Fate stuff for a stream would be average height or average weight of servant population compared to regular humans. That would be fun too, yeah. Which servant class would Freud be? That's exactly it, Torgamoose. I've been debating doing a Fate stream where I take famous psychologists like Freud or Jung or Titchener or James or Wundt, and I use my knowledge of these historical, these famous psychologists and make a Fate servant of them. I thought that would be a lot of fun. Like, I give them stats, I come up with their noble phantasm, I figure out their main class and alternative classes, I draw a fake portrait for them, or I draw a fake like ascension art for them or something like that. I thought that would be both fun and educational, so I've definitely been considering doing that. If there's enough interest, I would be happy to do that. That sounds evil, me like, yeah, I would love to do it. So if people are interested in that, I will absolutely do that. I'm gonna have to go back and read up on all these psychologists again and like make some notes before I do that. But I would very much love to do that. That'd be hilarious. I agree. It would be hilarious and educational. Which of the 4 major figures in psychology history are Saberface? That's a great question. So what would you like to do about Fate? That one. I think the one for like the thing about this channel is that this channel is specifically like educational psychology statisticky stuff. I do have an alternate identity where I've done a lot more Fate related stuff. Not really videos for Fate related stuff, but I've done a lot of fan art and stuff and in my alternate identity. But like for Fate stuff that I do here, I'd like to keep it like somewhat educational, if that makes sense. Like either whether that's psychology or statistics. Which is kind of restrictive. I could probably do like Fate fan art streams on my other channel, or even like Fate gameplay stuff. I still haven't finished Fate Samurai Remnant. And I've debated like streaming like farming in Fate Grand Order or something like that, or like playing Fate Extella or whatever. That would be fun. Maybe we could play through... I still haven't played the original visual novels. Well, that's no fair. I think this identity could do some Fate. That series is plenty educational. Maybe, yeah, I did, and I've done some Fate stuff, you know? I did that Fate statistics stream. I've done a couple videos on events in Fate Grand Order, like Fate Grand Order and the Suspension Bridge Effect. What else did I do? David Blue Book from Fate Grand Order, I did that. And then I did the Fate statistics, or Fate Grand Order statistics video. So I have done some Fate content on this channel. But yeah. Right, what was I doing? I was editing this lecture. Similarities validating. We like people who are similar to us. And I'm sure that this will replicate. I wasn't here for those. They're still there. The videos are still there. They weren't streams, they were videos, so they're still there, just as they were before. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, they're there. They're there. They exist. You can look them up. I think the two ones about things in Fate Grand Order were psychology shorts, so they should be on my psychology shorts playlist. Um, in fact, I think one of them is one of my most popular psychology shorts. I think both of them might be my, or they're in my top three out of the six. Yeah. FGO and the Suspension Bridge Effect, and FGO and David Blue Book's Hyperthymesia. And then the other one, I think, is in Anime Stats? Yeah, Anime Stats has the statistics from Fate Grand Order. Okay, right. Working on this PowerPoint. I'm gonna focus. I'm gonna focus. We're gonna do it. All right, I was checking similarity and attraction. Okay, here's a systematic review from 2023, specifically in the workplace. Similarity is valid in organizational settings. It is fundamental for us. Okay, so that's a replication. This replicates. And I'm gonna put in a note that replicates Bossy et al. 2023. Yeah, you do that. Let me come up with something distractingly creative. Hold up. Hey! Y'all are actively sabotaging me. Rude. Reciprocity. I wonder if I could find this exact study. Curtis and Miller, 1986 replication. Reciprocity. That's chat's job. You're right. You're right. Y'all aren't doing a very good job of it in the past hour or so, though. For the first hour, chat was doing a very effective job at distracting me. Y'all stun locked me for a bit there. But I think I'm doing pretty good right now of not getting distracted. I've been busy eating dinner. Good for you. Good for you. Let's see. Reciprocity. Experiment. Were you discussing Bob Ross? Yeah, we briefly talked about Bob Ross, but that was in relation to the PowerPoint, so I wasn't distracted. It was totally relevant. How so? So we were talking about first impressions and how first impressions can be misleading. And in my slides, I had a picture of Bill Gates from when he was arrested, when he was like a teenager or something. And I showed this to my students without telling them who it was. And then I was like, oh, by the way, this is Bill Gates. But I felt like that wasn't a really good example anymore of how first impressions can be misleading. So I was trying to find an example of a celebrity where I could find a picture of them that would make people form a highly inaccurate first impression about what type of person this person was, or like what this person was currently doing with their life, kind of deal. Which I guess Bob Ross has passed away, unfortunately, but you know, like, oh, what did this person go on to do with their life? And was it Astral that brought up that Bob Ross used to be a soldier? And so I found a picture of him when he was very young as a soldier, and I was like, yeah, I think this would make sense as like a if I show my students a picture of a soldier and say, what type of person do you think this guy is? What do you think that he went on to do in life? What is your judgments of this person from this picture? I think, I hope that my students will have a wildly incorrect impression of who Bob Ross was based on that being the first photo I show them. That's the goal. Meta liking. So much of that has happened with VTubers recently. First impressions from fans did not land. I know, I know. We also talked about VShojo as an example of that. The first impression of the company is very different from the current impression of the company. And like Gunrun, like the owner of VShojo, the previous impression many of us held of Gunrun, I think, has been thoroughly shattered. But unfortunately, I didn't think that that's well known enough, and VTubers in general, I don't think are well known enough that I could use that as an example that all of my class would get. Cinder drama, and you just, yeah, yeah, yeah. But unfortunately, I didn't think that that's like mainstream enough to use in my class. Like if I was doing a lecture on about first impressions on this stream, on this channel, I think that my audience here would largely know what I was talking about if I used those as examples, but like with my university class, I don't think. I suggested using their avatar in class, but no. I actually have used my VTuber avatar in class once a long time ago for Halloween. Or April Fool's Day, I forget which. It's not, but it's shocking enough. Like, dang, they came out as extreme examples of betrayal. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard, especially when you're in a public-facing position like that. Like, you are, especially with VTubers who are actively putting on some type of persona, many of them. Or just, yeah, public figures in general are actively putting on a persona, so it can be very, like, surprising and, like, it's... You don't know what's going on behind them until it reaches some sort of critical mass and crashes through the constructed persona that they are, the curated version of themselves that they are showing you, you know? It's, yeah. I would never place too much trust in a public figure, I think. I don't think that's a good thing to do, because you never know. As, like, especially with things like YouTube and streaming, they know that they're being watched, and they're very actively putting on a face. And then we have personas like Domon from Fate. Are they? Yeah, Domon is a mystery. We were talking about Domon earlier as well. Or no, we weren't. I was talking with friends about Domon earlier as well. I wasn't talking about that on stream. I was talking with friends. Domon is an enigma. I need to read more about them. I know they just got a chapter in one of the Fate, like, web mangas or something, where we learned more about them. I hope they had Seimei to Fate at some point. Meta liking increased gradually over the course of the interaction with substantial. Second, extroversion. Third, liking others is also linked to initial meta liking and early changes. Well, meta liking changes towards the end, and were not predicted by expressive behavior. I got my first Castoria, but kind of wanted Domon more, which is crazy. I hate him. I mean, he's a decent unit. Castoria, though, is really good. Castoria is almost necessary. My first impressions betrayed me on wanting him in my... Oh, no. Yeah, there's been some units in FGO that I didn't expect to like at all, and then I ended up really, 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 really liking. Like, Koshin Koji was one that we were talking about, I was talking with my friends about earlier today, where I didn't expect to like them at all. And then I heard their voice, and I was like, oh, okay, I like you. I read their profile, I'm like, oh, I like you, okay. And they might be my pick for Grand Assassin. Reciprocity and attraction. 420 subs? Hey, 5! Yeah, nice. We've been at 420 for a couple days now, actually. But then we went back to 419 before the stream, and now we're back up to 420. Nice. How you doing, Fi? I hope that you're doing well. Hope you're having a great day. Yeah, it fluctuates a bit. You know, it fluctuates. So I don't want to place too much excitement on it. You know? But yeah, we are currently at the nice number. We're at the nice number of subs. Whether that will go up or down in the next 24 hours or stay exactly the same. I think staying exactly the same is the most likely outcome, but you know, you never know what's gonna happen. Never know what's gonna happen. I will read a cannabinoid paper in your honor. Thank you. Thank you. I am deeply honored. Are you going to read it on stream, or are you just going to read it in the privacy of your home? I subbed to someone last month. I was 690 and let them know, and she made a stream. Congratulatory tweets. That's so good. Oh, that's fun. That's fun. I do not know who my 420th subscriber was, but I believe I've had at least two 420th subscribers, because it was at 420, then it went back to 419, and now it's 420 again. So I think I have two separate people who hold the title of 420th subscriber. It's fun. Oh, that's right, Fi. I was thinking of doing shorts. What do you think? What do you think? Should I do some shorts? I'm gonna do some shorts, maybe. Watch me say this and then just not do it. We'll see. We'll see. I gotta get on that. I gotta get on my 3-episode rule paper. We need to cycle until you have 420, 420th subscribers. Torgamouse, that's terrifying. That would require a significant amount of cooperation. The devil's bargain. Oh my god, am I distracting you enough now? I can do better. Oh, I'm still going. Look at me. I got through 3 slides just now. So clearly you need to work harder if you want to distract me. I'm so in today. I'm so locked in. As long as Torgamouse doesn't do anything. Torgamouse is OP when it comes to throwing me completely off the rails, is what I have discovered during this stream. Oh, I imagine Z is out there somewhere still laughing at me. Talk about feet. That's shut up. Shut up. Don't you can't just share my weak point like that. You can't just. Oh my gosh, my cat is so cute right now. I'm gonna take a picture of my cat. Excuse me. He's not doing anything. You have a weakness for feet. I do not have a weakness for feet, and that is the whole problem. Bug VTuber feet or something. That's true. That's true. I shouldn't have agreed with that. I feel like I've done something horribly wrong. I think I've made a strategic error. I cannot let you win. Working on my own projects right now. It turns out 2 350-watt power supplies are cheaper than 1 500. That's weird. That's weird but funny. The economics of supply are a very, very strange thing. Very strange. Thank you, Alex, for Torgamouse. There was never any doubt that you were gonna win. Like, I've given up. Winning should feel hollow to you because I never had any expectation of a fair fight. I never thought that I could win. So you shouldn't feel good about winning. Distraction successful? A little bit, yeah. Okay. Why do we like people who like us? Okay, these are just theories, so I don't need to check if they've replicated, because the evidence supporting them have replicated. Hi, Miley. Hey, Frost! Welcome! Happy to have you here. Good to have you here. Welcome to the chat. We are currently working on updating the second PowerPoint of the day. We've already made it through one. We're going to try and get through another. Social relations model. Okay. talking about, we were not talking about feet. You were talking about feet. You were talking about feet. That's on you. That's not on me. Why is my chat weird about feet? I'm gonna turn this on all of you. You're the ones who are weird about feet. You're the ones who keep talking about feet. I am innocent. Astral, you are innocent. You are an innocent. I hear chat's freaky today. Oh no. Yeah. Yeah, chat's been getting real weird, especially Torgamoose. Getting real weird. Talking about Pokemon feet? Oh my god. Can you believe it? Yesterday I found a monster. Iceberg about Oh man. I mean, when I opened the stream, you were showing off your new footless avatar. Shut up. Shut up. That was because somebody else was talking about feet. It's not me, that's what- y'all are the ones who keep bringing it up, okay? Okay? Y'all are the ones who keep bringing it up. It's not me. I love monster-y designs. They're so much fun. Y'all are gonna make me just pull out a half-body model, aren't you? Aren't you? For shame that you're forcing me to such lengths to try and keep you under control. I mean, Bigfoot is a cryptid, isn't it? Bigfoot is a boring cryptid, okay? This is on brand in a way. What kind? Yeah, no, Bigfoot is boring. This is my hot cryptid take. Bigfoot and the Yeti are boring. They're just hairy people in the woods. There are already plenty of hairy people in the woods. Could do a genie wisp. I could become a will-o'-the-wisp. That sounds like a fun model, actually. I should make a genie wisp model. I just got some recent practice on animating wisps in Live 2D. So I should, yeah, maybe I'll do a will-o'-the-wisp model. I think maybe that'll be my next thing. Vaguely different ape and vaguely different. Exactly, Frost. You understand. You understand. Bigfoot is boring. Bigfoot. That's what. Cryptid tier list. Yes, I would love to do a cryptid tier list. Let's do a cryptid tier list. Me just talking about how I want to keep everything on this channel educational. Me now. Cryptid tier list. We need to do it. Mothman, of course, is S tier, as is the Fresno Nightcrawler. Those are both S tier. The one that I'm using for my next model might be S tier as well. Ghosts of all kinds are goated. Hard agree. Fi has one line in chat and it's the best line out of all of them. It's true. Fi is very good at it. Fi is just like, I'm gonna drop in, I'm gonna say something that is perfect, and then I'm gonna disappear. It's incredible. Jackalope. I like jackalopes, okay? I actually honestly really like jackalopes. But they have the advantage of being very cute. They have the advantage of being very cute. So it's not, like, Bigfoot and the Yeti are not cute. Jackalopes are cute. So even though jackalopes are relatively boring, they're cute. And that is huge. Oni women are also S tier. FGO nailed it when adding them to their IP. I would argue that I love FGO's Oni women, but I would also like to see a really buff Oni woman in FGO. We need more buff Oni women in FGO. Special research for studying. Thank you! Yes, I am goated. All of my opinions are objectively correct. This has always been true and it will continue to be true. We need more buff women. And you know what we really need? This is my ultimate opinion. I have no respect for weird taxidermy. That's fair. You can be wrong. More buff women in media, please. Yes. Okay. So besides that, you know what we also need? You know what we need most of all? What's the point of an Oni woman if they aren't buff? Exactly. Well, I don't want to speak ill of Shutendoji and Iburakidoji from FGO. I love them. They're both wonderful characters. But we also need some buff representation. Yeah, I agree. I think the hype around Tsuchinoko is hilarious, and that bumps its rank up at least a little. But I agree that it's kind of boring as far as cryptid go, but design-wise, but like the hype around it definitely bumps it up and makes it funny. But what we really need more of in media, women in suits. Women in black fitted suits. This is what we need more of. This is my hot take. Yes, see? Yeah, the Dunsparce one. Tsuchinoko's the Dunsparce one. Make Bargeist into an Oni for Halloween. I would support this. I'm in full support of that. Yes. 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 Yes to all of this. Of course, suits rock. Yes, suits are incredible. I love suits. Slender Man has been misgendered the whole time. Ooh! Oh my gosh, sorry, I'm gonna open the blinds. I'm gonna open the blinds. There's some really cool weather happening outside, and I want to be able to properly observe it, okay? Give me a second. Give me a second. Just give me a second. Kitty, are you ready? Are you ready? Oh my gosh, look at that, Mr. Kitty. Mr. Kitty, doesn't it look cool? We mustn't go outside. What kind of weather? Hit us with the video essay. I don't think I should tell you what kind of weather, because that might give you a way to find out what area I'm in right now. Mordred got a suit this summer, actually. Yeah, Mordred in the suit is great. Mordred in the butler outfit is hella good. Oh, look at that! I'm not going out in that weather, but I love being inside in that weather. All right, let's do it. Okay, back to editing. Maybe I should get a suit. I should put on a suit. I think I would look good in a suit. Fair enough, maybe. Maybe no, you're good. Psychology of friendship and love. I forgot how doxable so many things are. Yeah, this... I don't know if, like, weather is truly doxable, unless it's, like, very, very extreme weather. But I'm gonna be careful anyway, you know? Oh, Mr. Kitty! Good Mr. Kitty! You might actually start to be able to hear the weather soon, so maybe I shouldn't stay quiet. We'll see. If you can hear the weather. If you can hear the weather, then I'll stop being coy about it. But if you can't hear the weather, then I'm not gonna. Good boy! Mr. Kitty is fascinated by the weather. He's very excited. As he should be. Sorry. You know, the true champion of distracting me is the kitty. I mean, I remember we discussed you being noblesse. Noblesse? Noblesse. Oblige. I mean, depends on who's watching. You can get a pixel of the Earth and Rainbolt, the GeoGuessr guy will find your exact location. This is true. This is true. It's a little scary. I need to be careful about what opinions I have, about food. Because I have a lot of opinions about food, but the problem is many of them are very regional. Top of the cryptid S tier, Okapi. I can always forget how to pronounce Okapi, or Okapi. Those are super cute. They're actually real, no less cryptid. Yeah, I love them. They're so cute. They're so cute. Mr. Kibble. We are so lucky Rainbolt isn't evil. It's so true, so true. Rainbolt could bring this, like, this entire world to its knees if he so choose. You could be an immigrant from another location or someone with a chef as a parent. That's true, that's true. You know, that's true. I can have opinions about food. Though I will say... Your second language messed me up. No, you're good. Nobility. I'm not... Am I nobility? I don't know if I'm nobility. We all know that my job doesn't pay, like... My job pays very well for what it is, but I would argue that my profession's just overpaid as a general thing. 24 studies. I am kinda... One of my friends lived in the southern UK and had the most Asian opinions I've ever heard. He's pure white. It's funny. You don't want kingship or queenship. I don't. Meanwhile, me, the actual Asian chick. Do I own land? I do not own land. I do not own land, no. Oh my gosh. The weather! The weather! I hope my Wi-Fi doesn't go out. If I suddenly disappear, it's probably the weather. Not landed gentry, at least. Yeah, see? It's comforting. I don't know how I feel about nobles. I have mixed feelings about the nobility. Do. Let's see, that's not what I need. French... Exactly, mixed feelings is a sign they can be redeemed. Is it? The French have the right idea about nobles. Financially struggling nobles. There's so many things going on. Let's see if I can find relationship between quality of sports friendships and mental health. And this is so specific, but I love it. Um, let's see. I love a good story where nobles undermine corrupt nobles for the people's sake. Zorro, for example. Yeah, that is a good kind of story. I also definitely see the appeal in those stories. I don't know how realistic they are, but I do like them. Oh man. I kind of want to go outside now. I really shouldn't. I really shouldn't. Oh, it looks so nice. It looks awful, which means it looks nice. Do you ever just like want to go out into horrible weather and just experience it? No? Fair. I think I might have a problem. I love doing that, yes. Oh, see, there's some people of culture here. There was one point where I was staying in a place and it was in the middle of it was the middle of winter and I was staying in this place. Sometimes walking in the rain is nice. Agreed. Going out in good weather is already hard. That's fair. Wow, it's so funky out. I wonder how it feels. Goes in a snowstorm with no protection. Okay, that's why. Frost, you understand me. Yeah, mixed reactions to rain. Yeah, that's fair. No, this story. So once I was in a place, I was staying in a place, and it just so happened that it was very, very cold out. And when I say very cold, I mean very cold. It was, if you included wind chill, it was negative 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Negative 50. Like, and of course, I had to go out for a walk because I I had to know. I wanted to know. And I made it roughly half a block before my hair froze, even though my hair was not wet. And I went back inside. Yeah. Rain feels nice, but makes me feel drenched in water. Yeah. It's been a long time since I got like well and truly drenched by rain. I remember once when I was a kid, I was walking home from school, negative 50 C or F Fahrenheit, negative 50 Fahrenheit. I wonder what that is in Celsius. I know Fahrenheit and Celsius are the same at negative 40. So about negative 45 degrees in Celsius. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went for a walk when it was negative 45 degrees Celsius. Because I had no sense of self-preservation, I guess. I just had to know. In general, that's a horrible pattern in my life, is that I'm going to watch Arknights anime with a friend. Thanks for the stream. Oh, have fun! Have fun! Enjoy! Enjoy. But so you know how there's that, like, fear responses? Yeah, it was nice to have you. It's good to see you. But there's those fear responses, right? There's, fight, flight, and freeze. And I think people also include fawn in there sometimes. So, like, I have to verify everything with my own personal experience kicking in. Yeah. But it's like fight, flight, and freeze, right? And flight would be, or fight is you try and fight the threat. Flight is you run away from the threat. Freeze is you just kind of, you freeze. You can't move. You're so scared you can't move. And fawn isn't the same as freeze. Fawn is like you try and I'm not sure how. It's fawn with a W. It's like you try to appease other people. You try and appeal to the threat. You try and calm the threat down. You try and Fawn is supposed to be appeasing the party. Yeah, yeah. You try and calm the threat down. You try and give the threat what they want. You try and be nice to the threat, like that kind of thing. No, not deer in the headlights. Like, I get how you would get that, but it's fawn with a W instead of fawn with a U. I have a fifth response to fear. I have a fifth response to fear. And that response is find out. I think it's technically closest to freeze, but like, there was this one instance. I'm about to tell kind of a wild story, so I hope that this is okay. But I live in America, right? And you know what a lot of people in America have that most people don't have in other countries? The answer is guns. So that's where this story is going. Debt, a lack of healthcare, these are both correct. But in this case, it wasn't either of those things, it was guns. And so I was in a public space. And there were two people who were kind of close to me who were arguing. They were having a very heated argument. And I was just kind of trying to ignore it. I didn't really, but I was curious, so I was kind of trying to, whoa, okay. Well, light switches in our bathrooms, according to Side Errant. This is also true. Maybe that was a little intense. Yeah, well, now you know what kind of weather is going on out there. That's right, it's a very intense thunderstorm. So again, if I suddenly disappear, it's because of the weather. Oops, maybe I should end stream soon. But yeah, no, I was in this room, I was in a public space, two people were arguing. Yeah, that's where that was coming from. They were arguing and they were yelling at each other. You're supposed to leave when you see a hurricane. It's not a hurricane. It's not a hurricane. I don't think. I would have gotten a weather alert if it was a hurricane, surely. Maybe I should check the weather. But surely I would have gotten a weather alert if it was something like a hurricane. Yeah, no, it's just thunderstorms. Like, there are other weather alerts, but no weather alerts that would require me to go and evacuate. I'm currently, right now, in a fairly safe space, given the weather, so we're good. Thunderstorms are so relaxing when— exactly! That's why I'm savoring this. That's why I had to open the blinds, so that I could see the thunderstorm. You would have gotten a weather alert 2 weeks ago if it was a hurricane. That's true! You're right, I would have. I would have had plenty of warning if it was a hurricane, and I have received no such warning, so we're probably safe. But yeah, okay, I was in a public space, and two people were having a very heated argument. I was kind of listening to it, but pretending I was ignoring it, because, I was curious, but, you don't want to get involved in that. And then suddenly, one of them yells something real loud. And almost every other person in this public space bolts. They run. They run as fast as they can, as far away as they can. And what do you think I did? What do you think I did? What would you do if suddenly everybody around you started screaming and running? I didn't peek in. I was in the space with them, so I didn't have to peek anywhere. Yeah, no, I stayed. I stayed, and I watched. I would follow them. Yeah, that's the smart thing to do. That's probably what you should do. No, I stayed, and I watched. And I learned that one of the two people who was arguing had, in fact, pulled a gun on the other guy, flipped off the safety, and was about to fire it. The gun didn't actually go off, and, like, some other people, some of the other people who stayed behind were kind of like, it was wild. They were kind of scolding the guy. I think the guy was on something or something, but if you want to find out, follow someone until they stop running and ask. They know why they were running. That's probably what I should have done, but my response instead was just to stay there and just be curious and watch to see what was happening. And somehow, yeah, some other guy, like, who was on there was actually incredibly brave. He stomped up to the— well, first off, the guy who who got the gun pulled on him ran away. So I guess that kind of, to some extent, diffused the situation because the person who was provoking this gun carrier was gone now. But another guy came and stomped right up to the guy holding the gun and started chewing him out for pulling a gun in a public space where there were children and stuff like that. And he was that guy was brave, and like the other guy kind of mind you, I got the same lack of brain cells. It's true. It's true. It's a wonder I made it this far in life. I'm always saying like I got many concussions as a child. I have no idea how I managed to get a PhD with the sheer number of concussions I had as a child. I got knocked unconscious at least twice as a child. Like maybe that's why. Maybe it just knocked the I'm not saying I'm incapable of fear. I'm more capable of fear than the average person, I would say. I think my sense of fear is just installed to the left of where it should be. It doesn't sound like a lack of brain cells so much as a misallocation. Yeah, probably. How did I get concussions? That's a great question. All the damage focused on the self-preservation instrument. That's the problem. See, like, concussions lead to less brain damage when you're young. I got them when I was very young, so it's probably fine. I got the concussions. The two ones that knocked me out, I got from figure skating. I got those concussions while I was figure skating. There's one that I think might have knocked me out, but I don't remember, which of course bodes well for its severity, was where I fell down the stairs. All these concussions were self-inflicted, by the way. It was all figure skating or falling down the stairs. But yeah, I had a lot of concussions as a child. Fun times. Yeah, maybe one of those concussions knocked my sense of self-preservation a little off balance, because like there are things that I should genuinely be terrified of that I'm not, and there are things that are objectively completely harmless that will leave me in a panic. Like my sense of fear is completely misaligned. Oh. Anyway, back to work. Ugh. Yeah, no, my brain trauma's from other things. Not physical damage, it seems. Yay. Let's see. I think this citation's still fine. It's 5 years old, but it's a large cross-cultural study, and I can't find anything more recent. Well, I guess this is a replication, but it's on a more specific, sample. That's not quite what I'm looking for. But I think it's probably fine. Let's see. Types of love over course of relationship. Because this is about, I always have fun, like, lecturing on attraction, because, like, I have a whole lecture on attraction, and that's not a thing that I personally experience, so it's like, I'm gonna teach you all about something that you experience, but I do not, but I'm your teacher, so I'm gonna teach it. At least I'm backed up by research, so I can at least rely on research for it, but it's kind of funny. What do you think about it? Explain the relationship. Loving relationship. My, are you ace too? Yeah, I'm ace. I'm amazed. Look, even the colors of this outfit. This wasn't intentional, but the colors of this outfit. I'm just missing gray, aren't I? But it makes it awkward when I'm trying to teach about like attraction. I'm like, I'm demi. Oh, nice, nice. Love it, love it. Oh man. So the first thing I was thinking when I was seeing your colors, the colors are actually a coincidence, but you know they work out, so it's fine. All right, I can't find any research trying to replicate this, so I guess we'll go with it. I'm not finding any evidence that it does replicate, but I'm also not finding any evidence that it doesn't replicate either, so I guess we can leave that. Psychology of breakups. Fun, fun. Those who can do, those who can't teach. It is kind of like that in this particular scenario, isn't it? I may not know how to deal with attraction or what attraction. I do not have the experience with such a thing, but I shall teach you about it anyway. Perhaps you can use this knowledge. Ah. That is pretty funny. I like that. Good job, Torg. That's a good one. That is a very good one. Was this a lecture that I needed to expand upon? I had flagged some lectures that I wanted to expand upon and add some stuff to, so I should check if this was one of them. This was one. I might expand upon it tomorrow. For today, I'll just like check in on the. Yeah, okay, so these are all the slides that I had. I should check this one actually. What was this? This is one that was mentioned. This is an effect that was mentioned in Dr. Stone, but when Dr. Stone did it, they did it horribly wrong. What was the name of this effect? It was the social relationships 150 Dunbar's number. Dunbar's number. They used it completely wrong in Dr. Stone, and I went on a Twitter rant about it. But I'd already made videos critiquing Dr. Stone's use of psychology, because Dr. Stone sucks at psych. So I was like, maybe I should chill. Dunbar's number deconstructed. Bayesian and least squares phylogenetic methods generate approximations of 69 to 109 and 16 to 42. However, enormous 95% confidence intervals depending I'll add that in. Like that 150 is not a magic number. Depending on how you study it, it can be anywhere between 16 and 300 or I don't know. Yeah. Don't trust Dr. Stone. I've heard is pretty good for other areas of science, but Dr. Stone cannot be trusted on psychology. Dr. Stone. I mean, that's what like I think they do pretty well, but the thing with Dr. Stone is like they have a science consultant, Kurare, but Kurare I don't think it's realistic to have a single person to consult for every single branch of science. Like that just seems like a silly thing to do, and it really shows in Dr. Stone in the complete misunderstanding of many, not even psychological concepts, but even what a psychologist is. Which makes me very sad, because everybody gets really excited about Dr. Stone as like the science anime, and it's so bad at psychology. It's so bad at psychology. It makes me sad. Okay. Maybe one day I'll rant about Dr. Stone. But today I will not rant about Dr. Stone. I have many strong feelings about Dr. Stone. As a show, both in terms of science and in terms of characters and stuff. All right. I think that's good. All right, I have successfully updated 2 entire lectures. I think tomorrow I will try and go in... I'm debating whether I should just update all the lectures first and then flesh out the ones I wanted to flesh out, or flesh them out as I go along. I should probably update them first, and then I can flesh them out a bit more on the fly. Because the updating's the thing that I think takes more time than the fleshing out. Fleshing out, I don't think would be as stressful to do like during the semester. The updating would be more stressful to do during the semester. So that's okay. We've updated 2 lectures today, which is pretty great. I think we should probably leave it here. We should leave it here before anything else happens. Who knows what might happen. Well, thank you all so much. 2 presentations and only 1 sus clip. That's a pretty good ratio. I'm happy with that ratio. I wish it was 2 to 0 instead of 2 to 1, but you know what? I'll take it. It could be worse. It could be so much worse. Thank you for streaming. Thank you for coming to the stream. I'm so happy to have you here. It's lovely to have you here. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Yeah, thank you for coming. A host is nothing if there's nobody there, right? So thanks for coming. I'm gonna go get a snack and watch anime, I think. Take care, everyone. Always nice to be able to catch the surprise. Oh shoot, Milo's stream. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I had a lot of fun too. Thank you all so much for making this a fun stream. It wouldn't have been nearly as much fun without all of you. All right. Take care, everyone. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow if all goes according to plan. We'll see. Bye.